Hey, natural science students, today you're going to be using your understanding of energy that we've gained after doing the Marble Launch Challenge and the model rocket build and the straw rockets to describe to us what you have learned about energy exchanges. And in order to have a little fun while doing that, we're going to be doing our quarter 3 essay here, and I want to give you an opportunity to describe your understanding by designing your very own roller coaster. And so I'm here with my senior leadership seminar student, Mia. Say hi, Mia.
Hi.
And Mia is going to be reading the text of the requirements for the essay, but then I'm going to be jumping in periodically to sort of show you what the expectations are so that you know exactly what to do. And so Mia, take it away with that first paragraph.
Cool. Worlds of Fun is having an amateur physics student roller coaster design contest. The entry form explains that a winning entry will include a written description of a fun new roller coaster. The winner of the contest could have their roller coaster become a roller coaster at Worlds of Fun through help with professional designers. Worlds of Fun expects a complete presentation of the science behind your design. Write a 4-paragraph essay to this contest. The 4 paragraphs should include 1. Tell Worlds of Fun why they need a new roller coaster and how you're going to help. This is the introduction.
So I'll talk a little bit about the introduction. You know, folks, just a couple sentences, and there isn't a right or wrong answer to your introduction. It should just be logical, like examples of things that students have described in the past. Maybe you don't like the roller coasters at Worlds of Fun, or maybe you have an idea that's never been tried before for roller coasters, and so you should think of a logical reason as to why they need a new roller coaster and use that in the introduction to sort of begin the pitching of your idea.
Number 2. Describe where any hills, loops, or twists would be in your design and justify what order they would be, what order they would need to be in so the coaster could move without any motors beyond the first hill.
Okay, so for this paragraph, the key thing is that your roller coaster has to work. There aren't going to be any additional assisting motors, and so if you think to roller coasters that you've actually seen, they all start the same way, and there's a reason for that. And so what you need to do in this paragraph is you need to describe to us where are the smallest parts of your roller coaster, where are the medium-sized parts of the roller coaster, and where are the tallest parts of your roller coaster. The order in which you put the height of things matters, so make sure you describe that to us in paragraph 2.
Number 3. Describe why your coaster would make for a great addition to the theme park by explaining its fun factor and what the theme of your coaster would be that would make it draw crowds.
This is the paragraph where you get to have a little bit of fun with everything. And so think about things like sounds, smells. Is there going to be water involved? Are people going to get pies in the face? What is the theme of your roller coaster going to be? Is it going to be themed after a certain sports team or a certain type of music or your favorite historical figure? Or is it going to be more of a relaxing coaster that has like an emphasis for rainbows and a relaxing theme? And so this is where you really get to shine and describe what your roller coaster is going to be. And folks, money is no object. I want you to imagine your ultimate roller coaster and write about what that would look like no matter how much it would cost.
Number 4. Tell them when you'll begin work, how much you expect to be paid, and why it is worth it to spend money on you. This is the conclusion.
Okay, and so, just a ballpark for the money is okay. You want to wrap everything up. You're trying to sell an idea to Worlds of Fun, and so you should have a statement or two at the end that really describes why they should select your roller coaster and what it's going to, why it's going to be the best thing that it can possibly be for Worlds of Fun. Now, notice that in the first paragraph it talked about the science behind this, and in the past I've done this as part of the essay. This time around, to sort of help you out, I have a diagram that I'm going to be showing you shortly that will help you to label it. But before I do that, I'm going to scroll up and show you the graphic organizer that I have built in here to help you to organize everything. Now, one of the first questions that students ask is, well, should I write it? Can I type it? Does there need to be a final draft? Here are all your options, okay? If you would like to write your roller coaster design, write about your roller coaster design only in this graphic organizer, You can do that. That's perfectly acceptable. You do not have to write a final draft to this. You're going to have the rest of the 80 minutes to write this essay, and the essay needs to be done by the end of the 80 minutes. And so you can see there's a section here for your paragraph 1, your introduction. There's a section for you to talk about where all the hills, loops, or twists are going to be, but make sure that you tell us what the order is of the shortest, medium-sized, and tallest parts so that they're in an order that would actually work. You do not get any motors other than to get it up to the top of the first hill. Paragraph 3 is where you're going to talk about your theme park, what your design is, why it would be a great addition to your theme park, what's its fun factor, money is no object, make it awesome. And then you have your conclusion, paragraph 4, where you're going to sum it up and try to pitch this roller coaster to them and help them to understand why they should be selecting it. So you can write everything within this graphic organizer and turn it in. There does not have to be a final draft for this. If you'd like to write it on a separate sheet of paper, you can. If you are in assisted learning or ELL, I will allow you to type your essay, but you need to share that essay once it is all typed up to me in email so that I can make sure that I get it. If you are not in assisted learning or ELL, you need to handwrite your essay. That is an expectation. There is a rubric that is involved here. I recommend that you check out the exceeds expectations side of the rubric. I'm not going to talk about it right here, but the one thing that I do want to mention is that there is one final aspect of this assignment that is part of the ideas segment of the rubric up here. Half of your grade is ideas. And so what is the component that also needs to be included? Well, that other component is this diagram that must be filled out, in which you are going to describe what is happening with potential and kinetic energy with the roller coaster. And notice that this is just a very simple beginning of a roller coaster. There are spots on the track that are marked off with X's, and the idea here is wherever there is an X, you need to describe to me what is happening with stored energy by gravity, potential energy, and what is happening with kinetic energy, the energy of motion. So how would you go about doing this? Well, let's just take this first X as an example. Okay, here are your choices: max, 0, up arrow, and down arrow. And I'm going to do this first X for you so that you can sort of see how it's done. Okay, and so potential energy at the start of the roller coaster. When you're making a decision for potential energy, you are going to be thinking about what's going on with energy stored by gravity. In other words, potential energy is all about the height of your roller coaster. So we're going to decide, is this the maximum height? Is there no height? Is height increasing or is height decreasing at that particular point of your roller coaster? So in this case, this is the maximum height that we would have, so I would fill in the blank with max. But notice how we don't stop there. There's a because section here in which we need to type out what our reasoning was as to why we put that. Well, because that is as tall as the roller coaster gets, so there is the maximum energy stored by gravity. This is potential. This energy has the ability to do something if we release it, and we're going to release it by sending this car over the hill so that it glides down the track. Now, we're not quite done here. We need kinetic energy as well. Okay, kinetic energy is the energy of motion, and so we have to think about what's happening to the speed of the cart at any of these 4 different locations where there's an X. So, what's going on with the speed right before we start off? Well, right before we plunge over this big hill over the side of a roller coaster, our speed is effectively 0. We are not moving at all. And notice how we have to get a because in here as well. And so I'll go ahead and type in the because. Our because is the cart has no motion right before it falls down the hill. So the kinetic energy would be 0. You need to do the same thing for each of these other 3 locations to finish up the science component of your essay. As this cart is going down this first big hill, you need to tell me what's happening to potential energy and kinetic energy. When the cart reaches the bottom of this hill, what's happening with potential energy and kinetic energy. And as it goes up the next feature, this could be a loop, this could be a hill, this could be a twist. It doesn't really matter. It's all going to have the same description of what's happening with potential potential energy and kinetic energy. I do want to point out at this point that you do not have to describe potential and kinetic energy for every single part of your roller coaster. You're just going to tell me the science of this general example here, so we sort of have a standardized way for everybody to describe what they are thinking about for the science. And so, Mia, thanks for joining me on this video.
No problem.
All right, and so go ahead and start your essay, everyone. The expectation is that you are going to be working silently during the entire rest of this 80-minute section, and you need to turn in a completed essay before the end of this 80-minute section. Okay, bye.